Hey everybody, Dan Mobley, principal at Aquaterra Outdoors. I'm here with Nick McWhirter of SHM Architects in Dallas and Crested Butte. Nick, thanks for being with us here today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I wanted to sit down with you and chat a little bit about architecture, a little bit about design. I said it in a video earlier with Peter Scott that our joke in the office is every project is the same and every project is different. With those, we have different clients, they have different wish lists and different elements that they want to incorporate within their project. How do you go about doing that and deciding what elements to keep, what to throw out, what to adjust? What's your thought on that?
Our process is the thing that's kind of the same every time. And the way we really first start is by asking a lot of open-ended questions. And there's hardly ever a right or wrong answer. It's just we're trying to get to know them and what makes them tick, really. In a way, the open-ended questions start kind of doing that whittling for us. And the other thing that, we are always inspired by or kind of constrained by the realities of the site, but also the person across the table from us. So it's the best part of the job actually is not knowing how it's going to go. I really love that part of what I do is kind of just seeing it in the fog at the beginning and then trying to work our way through it.
Yeah, there's been a couple projects where we get done and I'll walk through it and I'm like, I don't really remember how we got here, but I'm really glad that we're here right now. This is really cool.
That's one of the things that I think I've discovered just recently is how much joy it brings when a project takes a life of its own. At some point, we're kind of getting a little bit out of the way of the direction of it. And that is actually really fun. I think even though we're kind of maybe has some control issues.
I'm glad to hear you say that, yes.
Wanting to kind of, I think it's just about being caring a lot about what we do. But ultimately, as soon as you start to see that turn and it takes the life of its own, that is really fun to watch. And I think it's because we get to work with folks like you. Everybody that touches the project, it gets better. And the collaboration part for us that's my favorite part, honestly.
Yeah, I enjoy that as well. I think SHM does an awesome job with blending architectural styles. I like when you can look at a home and you can see some inspiration from a couple different maybe architects that are famous or different styles. How do you do that? How do you blend those styles together and make it work?
There's a mystery to this, honestly, and that's one of the things that is a lot of fun about what we do as well. I think that the blending happens when we do research well, and the style of a project we often enter into that without an agenda. The discovery, I guess, of what of an owner's taste is a really delightful part of it. And the best way to do it I found is just use pictures. Pictures worth 1,000 words.
Absolutely.
So we ask them to bring us pictures, and based on what we start to see connections that are made with the things that they're excited about, then we can bring some stuff to the table. And then it starts to, again, this is about, trying to let it reveal itself to all of us about where it's going to fall on the style spectrum.
I think y'all have done a really cool job too of designing things that are of different architectural styles, yet still having, like, I can drive through a neighborhood and be like, that's an SHM house or somebody that was inspired by SHM to design that house. And that's a very cool thing to have. So kudos to y'all for doing it that way.
Thank you.
So we've talked a lot about design process. We've talked about blending architectural styles. And I have a question that kind of comes from a personal side. Do you think there's such a thing as timeless design? And if so, how do you continue to evolve that timeless design and functionality to meet the needs of clients and society as that changes?
Every project has aspects of it that are of a time and also timeless. I think the sooner we're able to kind of acknowledge that we can hold those two truths simultaneously, the better off we are. Because they kind of are, they're kind of in conflict with each other a little bit. And feel free to steal any of this for sure.
There's nothing new under the sun.
There's nothing new under the sun, but I think For us, timelessness in the logic behind how a house works internally is something that doesn't go out of style. When we're careful about how we compose, whether that's just thinking about a room or thinking about the overall site and the relationship inside to outside, if we're careful about that and sensitive, we get closer to the goal of creating something that lasts for a really long time. I would say there's aspects to every project that are going to go out of style. There's just no way to deal with that. It's just the reality of it. The process that we like to go through reveals something that is going to stay true to the needs of where it is on the earth, how it relates to where the sun is in the sky. Luckily those things don't change. We know exactly what that's going to do. It's a pattern that has gone on long before us and will go on long after us. So if we can do work that responds to those kind of externally timeless aspects, then we're getting closer to that, I think. Anything that has to do with technology, you can be sure is going to go out of style at some point. It will be replaced by something. So what we really try to focus on is not the bells and whistles, but the kind of core bones of a house. If we do our job well, those things will look fantastic and work and feel good forever.
Yeah, a house is always going to be a home. I like that. Well, Nick, thank you so much for coming and sitting down and taking time. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you all for joining.